Hi, welcome to the Raw and Real Conversations with Evan podcast with your host, Evan Youngblood-Williams here. And today, the first episode we're going to be talking about is You Are in Prison and Don't Even Realize It. And the reason why I'm coming up with this episode is because I was having a conversation with one of my supervisors at work, and me and him were talking about different things in life, different experiences. And one thing that he said that really stuck with me was, most people are in prison and don't even realize it. And ever since I heard that, I was like, dang, this is some intense stuff. But he's right, because if you think about it, most people are slaves to different types of vices, different types of habits, addictions, whatever you name it. Somebody is a slave to something. And that statement caused me to have a real hard look at myself, caused me to have a real hard look at myself in the mirror. And I had to face a lot of uncomfortable truths that I indeed was in prison, not in a literal sense, but in a metaphorical and spiritual sense. And, to give you a little context of what I mean by that, I just recently ended an 8-year relationship, and I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty intense. I was pretty scared. I was pretty hesitant because we've been together for so long that I was afraid that I wasn't even gonna make it out here without her. But I finally had the courage to do it, which I'll discuss, speaking of that, I'll discuss some powerful key lessons that I've learned from that 8-year relationship. But, anyways, back to the topic at hand. So, after that, my supervisor planted that seed in my head, it caused me to really start reflecting on the last 8 years of my life with my previous partner. And I realized in all the little subtle and not so subtle ways that I was in prison, because for a long time I was faking like I was happy, and I pretended that everything was together because on the surface it did. I had a stable job working for the Department of Corrections. I'm in the military. The home is clean. And for the most part, all of my needs were taken care of. Or so I thought, because spiritually on the inside, I low key felt a little empty. And for the past 8 years, I've relied on my partner for my sense of happiness and my sense of validation and to get permission to do certain things. And one of the things I pondered upon was, okay, I can really leave to go wherever I wanted to go. I can't really spend and utilize my free time like I wanted to and really spend my off days on the things that I'm really passionate about, like what I'm doing right now, creating content. And speaking of creating content, I put that on hold for 8 years to support her and to be with her. And for a really, really long time, that just kind of fucked with me. It fucked with me in more ways than one, because I'm like, damn. I mean, I understand at the time I was broke as fuck and I didn't have a place to stay other than my mom's house, and I didn't have my own job, but at least I got to do something that I love to do, which is creating content, because I've always been a creative soul my whole life. But let me get back to the topic at hand of um, most people being in prison and not even realizing it. And so, what I want you to do is to really, really, really take a honest, hard look at yourself and your life thus far. Are you truly free, or are you keeping yourself in a self imposed prison? That's the question that I want you to ask yourself. I want you to pause this video or this audio if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this, audio only, doesn't matter. I want you to pause this episode and really, really dive deep into your soul and ask yourself those powerful, powerful, uncomfortable questions. Because the only way that you are going to break free from the self imposed prison that you built for yourself is to be brutally, and I mean brutally, honest with the man or the woman in the mirror. And I know it's going to get uncomfortable. I know you're going to be shaking in your boots. I know it's going to feel foreign to you. It's going to feel scary. It's going to feel like you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death. But just know that you shall not fear any evil, that you shall not fear the answers that you seek, because it is in this answer that you seek that'll be the key to your freedom. But firstly, you must be brutally honest with yourself. Okay. And also, other questions I want you to ask yourself is, am I free to go where I want to go? Am I free to have access to my money the way that I want to? Do I have the freedom to travel any and everywhere that I want to? Excuse me, I had to scratch my eye because it's itching real quick. Not itching real quick. What the God dang it, man. But hey, this is the podcast I created, right? It's raw and real conversation. So even if I scratch my eye, gotta scratch my arm or scratch whatever, if you hear a noise in the background, is raw and real. That's what it's about. It's about being raw and real and having raw and real conversations with each other. Um, but anyways, let me get back to my original point because I'm raining again. Um, it's not easy. I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys. This is not going to be an easy task. It's going to feel laborious. It's going to feel it's going to feel scary. You're going to feel fear. You're going to have all types of emotions that come up whenever you attempt to look at yourself in the mirror and really get truthful and brutally honest with yourself and the life you're leading thus far. I'm not saying that it's going to be a walk in the park, but if you do this work, you'll take the steps that it takes to free yourself from the self imposed prison. Because to be honest, you can leave at any time. You're just choosing not to. You're just choosing to make excuses for why you stay stuck in the fucking prison that you built yourself probably since childhood. You're still holding on to childhood wounds from 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. You're still allowing the fact that your dad or your mama not being there keep you in prison from stepping up to your full potential. You're letting that resentment that you're having towards your parents for not being there the way that you wanted them to be or being loved the way that you wanted to be loved. You're still holding on resentment to your boss. You're still holding on to resentment towards the world in general. In general. And the only thing that resentment does for you is further entrap you and ensnare you in that self imposed prison. Nobody else built it but you. Nobody else. Just like in my situation for the past 8 years. No one has imposed that prison upon me except for myself. I willingly walked into it and I justified stayed in it because I was comfortable. And you guys, including myself and everybody else in the collective, you're going to have to get real uncomfortable right now. It ain't time for comfort. It's time for freedom. It's time for you to hand yourself the keys to get out of that prison that you built yourself. It's time to let go of whatever bad habits you have. It's time to let go of negative thoughts. It's time to let go of resentment. It's time to let go of anger. It's time to free yourself. So, from the rest of 2026, I'm going to make a commitment, and I hope that you're going to make a commitment as well to protect your freedom, because freedom is not given, it is taken. You have to take your freedom back. You have to declare your independence from all the years of childhood trauma, of resentment, of feeling powerless, of complaining about your job, but refusing to leave and refusing to make an exit plan since you claim that you're dissatisfied. You're going to have to really, really get unsatisfied with the type of life that you're leading thus far that's not even yours. Yes, it is true that the system is, you know, like people like to say, rigged against us. It is true that the economy is a mess right now. It is true that these politicians don't care about us. It is true that, you know, your coworkers or some of your coworkers that you work with are snakes in the grass. It's true that they're not your friends. It is true that the hand that you were dealt in life was unfair in your childhood. If you had a real rough and poor childhood, but I'm here to tell you this. You're a grown ass man or a grown ass woman watching or listening to this. You already grown. Why are you still crying about your childhood? Why are you still crying about the things that your parents didn't do for you? Why are you still crying about the system being rigged? Why are you still crying about the economy being bad? Meanwhile, you're spending money on bullshit that doesn't even help you prosper. You don't invest money. You don't save money. You're busy paying your money to fund all your distractions. Why? To numb yourself from having to deal with the pain of knowing that you built yourself a self-imposed prison. And so, with that being said, I'm going to conclude this episode by saying thank you for listening and thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And if you want to go ahead and, you know, subscribe to this channel or subscribe to this podcast, go ahead. Go ahead. This is my first episode. This is my first go of this. So excuse, you know, the the angle and the background. I just like, all right, I'm not in a perfect situation. The situation that's not perfect. I'm renting a room. The room is not set up the way that I like it to be. So I can have the proper setup that I want. But you know what? I'm here making it work. And that's what I want to tell you too before I conclude it. I know I said I was going to conclude it, but I want to speak on this point while it's fresh on my mind. Is that if you have a dream and you're really serious about that dream, you're going to do what it takes to make that dream happen. If you're dissatisfied with your job, or even if you're not and you want to really act on your passion, there is no perfect time. You just got to do it. Because right now, I'm doing it. I'm making it happen despite the imperfect setup, despite everything not looking the way that I want it to be. I'm not going to use that as an excuse anymore. Sorry for tapping the mic. I am not going to use that excuse anymore to stop myself from going after my dreams. Because I've waited 8 years too fucking long. 8 years too fucking long. And so I'm like, all right, just work with what I got. But yeah, now I'm going to really conclude this episode by saying thank you for taking the time to listen because you could have been doing anything else that you needed to do and wanted to do. You could have done a million and one things today, but you chose to come and listen to me and have this honest, raw, and real conversation. So thank you. Have a blessed day. I hope this gave you a boost of courage and motivation and discipline to free yourself from whatever self-imposed prison you put yourself in. All right. Peace, love, blessings, high vibrations.